Make sure that you're getting everything out of the bowl. There you got some at the bottom. Hi foodies! So today we're going to be making a sweet potato cheesecake. So I'm making this video around the Thanksgiving holiday, and I love cheesecake and I also love sweet potato pies. So I thought I would try to put them together, two of my favorite desserts, and see what we come up with. So today I'm making sweet potato cheesecake, not pie, and to do that I'm going to use 2 bars of cream cheese. You can use whatever brand you like. You can even try like a low-fat version if that's what you're doing, but I have 2 bars of cream cheese, which are full fat, and I also have 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. 1/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream is what the container will say when you go to the grocery store. It's usually with the milk in the refrigerated section along with these other ingredients. 2 bars of cream cheese. So I'm going to use 2 eggs. I have medium eggs today, and that will work just fine. I'm using a pre-made crust. So Keebler, oh man, that's the timer on the oven. But anyway, Keebler makes pre-made crust. Some are smaller, maybe 6 inches, I think, or something like that. And then they have a larger size that will say two extra servings, which I think may be a 9-inch pan or so. And so I'm using the 9-inch pan today. Originally I tried this recipe, I used a springform pan, and in that case I used an additional bar of cream cheese. So at that time I used 3 bars of cream cheese and 3 eggs, and then I also used like 1.5 cups of sweet potatoes. But today I'm using about 1 cup of sweet potatoes. I'm making a slightly smaller cheesecake, so hopefully this will fit in the pre-made crust. It's a little bit easier, it's a time saver, so that's what I'm using today. So we're gonna get started and let's get into the recipe. Okay guys, so we are using a pre-made crust today. However, you will see like how, it's actually a little bit cracked, but that's fine. Like how kind of light in color this is. So even though we're using a pre-made crust, what I like to do is to put it in the oven ahead of time. And so I have my oven set to 350. I set it earlier. And what I'm going to do is put my crust in here, let's say for about 10 minutes or so. And this will allow you to have a crispy crust on the bottom of your pie, your cheesecake rather, whenever it's done. Because you're putting some wet ingredients on top, you still want your cheesecake to be crispy on the bottom. You want a nice crunch on your crust. So let's get into adding these ingredients and mixing these together. So by the time our crust is finished, we have all these ingredients in the mixing bowl and they'll be ready to go by the time the crust is ready. So I am going to add about 1 cup of some sweet potato mix. That's really sweet potato pie mix that I had left over. And I'm gonna put in about 1 cup. And since I had this left over, I thought about doing some turnovers with this, but actually I love a cheesecake, so I thought doing the sweet potato cheesecake would be a little bit better. I get the crust, the cheesecake, and the sweet potato. So I decided to use this leftover sweet potato pie filling in my cheesecake. And so that's about 1 cup of sweet potato pie filling. And I'm also going to add the cream cheese, which I mentioned before. I have 2 blocks of cream cheese. Just drop those right in. And next we're going to add in the cream, which is heavy whipping cream along with some sour cream. And I also am going to add in here about a cup of sugar. It's a little less than a cup because you really don't need that much. We already have the sweetened sweet potatoes, so you really don't need that much sugar in here. So again, what I have in here is the cream cheese, the sweet potatoes, the heavy cream, the sour cream, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a mix. Guys, so this looks pretty whipped actually. As you saw, added about another say half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of sweet potatoes, and I'm going to give this a taste. As you guys can see, this is the consistency. I'm going to give it a taste. Whenever you taste your food, make sure you're using a fresh spoon or utensil or whatever you're going to use if you're going to be serving others. That's really good.
Really, the only word for it is...
I don't know how anybody else does this sweet potato pie, but like we don't like the strings that are kind of in the yams and the sweet potatoes. So we try to whip it really smooth, and this is has caused like my cheesecake to be pretty smooth, and the taste is really creamy, which I love about cheesecake. I'm gonna whip it a little bit more because I still taste like a little bit of chunks of sweet potato, and we want to get it really smooth so it'll bake up nice and smooth and it'll be creamy when it's done. But the flavor is really good. I'm glad I added that extra little bit of sweet potato filling. It's nice and creamy. The amount of sweetness is perfect, and the flavor is giving me sweet potato pie, but super creamy. So I'm gonna let this whip a little bit more, and then we're gonna go ahead and add the 2 eggs and then transfer it over to the pie crust. So guys, we have 2 eggs here that are going to go into the cream cheese mixture with the cream cheese, the sweet potatoes, sour cream, and heavy cream and sugar. I like to beat them a little bit first. That helps them to blend well when we put them in. I don't want them to get lost in the cream, so this helps them to incorporate well into the mixture that we already have going.
A few moments later.
So I am pouring our cheesecake mixture into the crust. The crust is nice and dark and crispy. And make sure that you get all of the mixture out of there. Make sure that you're getting everything out of the bowl. There, you got some at the bottom. So guys, my cheesecake is now on the top rack, and for cheesecakes, I like to put a steam bath in there, and that is just a pan of water to help the crust, not the crust, but help the cheesecake not crack on the top. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I have my cheesecake in the oven, and I'm gonna set my timer for 70 minutes and go. And we'll see how it turns out in 70 minutes. Oh, also guys, make sure you periodically check your cake. Again, depending on the size of the crust and the amount of filling you use and your oven and your altitude, things could be done sooner or later. Sometimes I find that for recipes that I follow, my food gets done a little later. I need to add a little bit extra time. Make sure that you're making those adjustments yourself for your baked goods as well. So the cheesecake is in the oven, and we'll check back in when it's done. Hi guys, so thank you for joining us today. Today we made a sweet potato cheesecake with a praline topping. It is nice and creamy and delicious. I made this for Thanksgiving, but definitely try it on any day of the week. It's great if you love cheesecake, if you love caramel and nuts as well. Also, you can skip it, but this is a great recipe to try. Mix it up, make it your own. And if you make it, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. Definitely leave us a comment of any other recipes or things you'd like to see. If you'd like us to travel to where you are and try some good food, let us know. We love traveling and we love food. So please leave some comments down below about your thoughts on this video. Thanks for joining us today.